Lost Hope kind of caught my eye. Is that a parody on New Hope?
It's not a parody on New Hope, but it was around the time where I had lost my job. So what had happened was we were working on another cartoon, and unfortunately it was created by Louis C.K., and he had his sexual debacle for the Me Too campaign that basically cost about 100 of us our jobs, and I just got frustrated and I had literally lost hope.
Papa's popping and locking, Magnum scrutinizing, Papa Mac's podcast.
Welcome back, everyone, to episode 12 of the Papa Mag Pinecast. Mags, if there's two things we do well, it's apologies and holding people accountable, including ourselves. And you know what that means?
Apologies?
Holding accountable.
Oh, right. That part. Let's do it.
73 days it's been. 73, folks, since we've been told it'll be a few weeks until we can get our NFTs off of THETA drop.
Oh, that is rough.
It is rough. Lie. I mean, at this point, it's just, it's kind of going to be the thing until doesn't need to be anymore. So 73 days. It's like Homer Simpson, at the nuclear power plant. Days since accident. So I was looking through the pine sales from recently, and man, Chief O'Leary on a tear. What a beauty of a pine he picked up last night. He had the Samurai, T-Fuel staker, T-Fuel blindfold with a THETA pin. What a beautiful pine. Did you see that one?
Yes, I did. It was a very nice pickup for NEC and AKA Chief O'Leary. Yeah, good for him. He did great.
Yeah, that's a beautiful pine.
It is a beautiful pine. I was working a deal to get that pine myself, and the individual wasn't interested in a trade and T-Fuel, and I was very close. And I told him I'm probably gonna have to wait another day for a transfer to be able to clear, because I was at like the limit for the day, like a daily limit. I was like, I'll get back to you. Next thing I know, the only highlight of the night for me, there was dual the revolvers. There was a revolver pine.
Yeah, what a buy that was by you. That was nice.
With a grape czar.
Yeah.
It was like three something.
333 or something like that.
Yeah, and it was US dollars or T-Fuel, and I did pay the T-Fuel. That was a really good deal. So I realized
a gentleman.
One good thing, one step forward, like 20 steps back. So what happened with this is I picked it up and I beat SPS Brody, shout out to Brody, and NEC who really wanted that. Like I said, this was just after fierce negotiations for that pine that he picked up.
Yeah.
So anyways, he got back to me saying, "Hey, I saw that great pull you had with those revolvers." He goes, "I wanted it so bad, and I've been drinking, and I was just so upset that I splurged on that $5,000 pine." the one I was looking at. The one I was looking at. So you know me, and this happens a lot with me. I kind of went on tilt after that because now I got a shit ton of T-Fuel. I think I had like 60-something thousand T-Fuel that I couldn't
place to put it.
And no place to put it. So I wound up buying 2 cans. And then the funny thing was the cash value of the offer that I couldn't get through. I was like $700 short. I think I forgot about $500 I could transfer, and it totally escaped me. So I kind of was only like $200 off for kicking the pants. So I wound up 2 last night and 1 today. I bought 3 cans, and it was another disaster. I got nothing to write home about. The one with the boxing one, I don't know if you saw that one with the army.
Yeah.
He is absolutely hideous. Hideous.
He's got the army helmet though, right?
He's got the army helmet. He's like low 2000s ranked. But yeah.
And you got a mummy. The mummy wraps are nice.
Yeah, but
it's not what you want to open, but sure.
Well, yeah, so you get into the territory where the mummy was nice, but I already have a green mummy. I can't pull the blue one, which is the rare one. And
You couldn't complete the mummy challenge.
He had a well, I don't have a white either, but it was a grape czar background, which, was the more those, the more the lesser attributes and lesser backgrounds get printed, the more it might change the rarity. So I always keep that in the back of the mind. It's like, oh yeah, I got this mummy, cool. I love, fruity yummy mummy, but I don't want to open it. I already got a mummy. And then yeah, so then I got all of the rest of the tea fuel off, and I bought another can today, and I just got whacked in the face again. Out of 72 containers I've opened, canisters, I've pulled 0 customs. So I know I keep saying not to buy them, but I keep buying them.
I mean, you got to be the can opening champ here.
That's probably something else I fall short at. Somebody else probably has me.
I don't think so. I know there's one guy out there with 88, but none of them are open.
Right. But I think Mactastic might know. I think they were talking about the amount of cans opened. There's somebody else who's got a good amount too, but yeah, it's, you see, it's like I did pull a Yoda, which is very nice, which I've mentioned before. It might sound like I'm bragging about it because I have nothing else to brag about, but immediately after I pulled that one, the next pine that was opened was a Yoda, one better than that one. It was a kick in the pants from an individual who then opened a second can, who got, I think he got a skull and then middle finger SPS ring. It's how do you pull fire like that back to back and only 2 of them? And meanwhile, poor Magnum with his 1 Yoda and 71 floors. But
poor guy. So I'm just curious, have you opened enough pines to be able to tell the difference between the Empire apple background and the emerald background?
I haven't. I haven't. Do you? This is also a great topic. A few weeks ago, I put out my background challenge, as you recall, right?
Yeah.
And I intentionally separated back then Emerald and Empire Apple because I couldn't tell the difference, and I still can't tell the difference. This is, you got people saying nope, they're the same, and it's a slight variation. And just if I could go back further, when there was much fierce debate about tri-laser and shoulder beam laser, there was people that were saying, oh no, if you look at the angle of that, where it is on the pineapple's head, it's slightly different. And then James had to chime in and say, no, there was no difference. But I can't see the gradient. I can't. So I don't know. I'm confused. I just think it's an error.
Yeah, it is funny. I have a dual monitor system that I work with. And on one of the monitors, I can't tell the difference at all. On the other monitor, it's a little more clear. So I'm not sure if there's like a monitor issue, but the one way that I've been able to tell is if you go on to THETA Drop Rarity and you highlight both Empire Apple and Emerald as the backgrounds and pull them all up, and you put your mouse over the pine, it makes the pine enhance a little bit. And if it's Empire Apple, you'll see a color change, like the gradient will push out a little bit so that you can see it. But it's so minimal. I have a very hard time seeing it too, but I'm starting to be able to see it more.
This is the Secret Pineapple Society's version of the, what was it, the blue dress, gold dress thing? Do you remember that?
Oh yeah. Which one do you see? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I couldn't see it. Other people were on different computers. Some saw it, some didn't. So I think we'll just put undetermined. I think that's.
Yeah. Fair. I mean, it just, it's a shame to have to put it under a microscope to be able to figure out what you got. Make the hue just a little bit different.
I know it's been a long time since you opened a can, but when you see a can open with one of those 2 backgrounds and you don't know which one it is, what are you saying to yourself? I hope it's Empire Apple.
Absolutely. There is I forget which custom it is, but it has a similar Emerald Apple type background, but it's got a way nicer gradient. It's like, that's an obvious difference from Emerald. I just wish the Empire Apple was an obvious difference. For some people that think they're better than us, they think it is an obvious difference. But
I don't want to drag this game out any further. But I've seen different pines, and I can't remember. But sometimes, I feel like the Boss Blueberry, you can tell Boss Blueberry, but they're different. It seems like there's different shades on some of them, I feel.
Yeah.
When you compare them to each other. This thing is so microscopic. It's just amazing the value change, because I think Emerald might be the most simple, or it's up there as
It's
one of the
it's a
most
difference
common.
between very common and pretty rare.
Right. But I felt like that had to be addressed. People wanted answers.
Yeah, no, it's something we had spoken about before, and it's hard to see for me anyway. But so we had the silver and gold challenges this week that we spoke of last week. Did you see how those went?
Nope.
You didn't follow along?
Nope.
So I mean, I kind of, I feel bad for some of these silver and gold guys, because a lot of these were like, there's only 5 available, and we're dropping it, sometime maybe in the afternoon, our time, middle of the night on the other side of the pond. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people got jammed out of it. And I know even some people, you had to have a certain NFT to claim it. Some of them went in to buy the NFT, bought it, and then went to claim it. And then by the time they claimed it, it was already out. So it was like they lost money for being a silver.
So yeah, unless they already had it and were ready to go.
Right. If they already had it, then that's safe. But imagine spending whatever to buy an NFT that you need, and then you get there and the thing's gone already. It's like, oh man, this was supposed to be a fun challenge for me, and I just wasted money on an NFT that I didn't want because, I didn't have it in the first place.
I got no sympathy for you, with the golds and
So did you follow through and take your plan into action here?
Yeah, it's officially gonzo. I staked it. I sent it back to my THETA wallet, and I'm staking the T-drop on there. So I'd rather deal with any kind of rewards I'm getting there versus God knows what with leaving it on there than to watch other tiers have benefits while your tier has nothing. So
is your goal to make it up to silver? Is that what you're looking to try to do, or?
No, why would I?
Well, I don't know. The only real reason why that I've been illuminated to was, if THETA drop does end up getting big at some point and we get a lot more users on there, silver does have automatic access to like being whitelisted. So I could see that at some time in the future, if we're able to get a bunch of more people on there, being silver could have a value. Right now, that value is minimal, but I don't know. Something to think about.
I don't have anything to think about with that. Speaking of THETA drop, and you just mentioned the silver and gold. I don't know if you had more on that.
No, go ahead.
No. Yeah. So also, I just remembered. I sent you. I was texting you earlier tonight, and I got an offer on a pine because I'm just in a foul mood right now, and I got an offer on a ugly boxing one, not the other boxing one that I opened, and I just got the email. I go into THETADrop.com. I like to go through the SPS, way. SPS.com.
Was it a good offer?
No, I didn't see it. It was gone. Literally, not even a minute went by, and the offer was gone. I think we might be getting to the point that if you put an offer, you got to lock that thing in. It's got to get locked in. For the pineapples, you have to do individual offers.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So
that was only an offer on your pine. Yep.
Now what? THETA drop's gonna now this is gonna get out. Now everyone's gonna be sending me offers and then deleting them, and then I'm gonna keep running to my phone and checking, and then they're all deleted, and then it's just gonna rinse and repeat. Now that everyone knows that we can mess with Magnum by doing this.
Do you know who the offer came from?
No, it doesn't say. It doesn't say. Awesome. It's like it doesn't even exist. Was it you?
No, but it will be next time.
Oh, you. Yeah, I can't seem to win.
I think you're doing pretty good over there. I think you're doing pretty good. So we had quite a week on Twitter this week, I noticed, which actually, we need to rehash something here.
Yeah.
Because there was a tweet that NEC put out, our good friend Chief O'Leary, and I'm pretty sure he was trying to dunk on me with a fruit pizza.
It looked delicious.
I looked at it and I zoomed in to see whose recipe it was because I was going to look them up on Twitter and give them a piece of my mind. And then I was like, wait, I start reading through the recipe. I'm like, wait a minute, this is a cookie with fruit and whipped cream on it. This sounds terrific. I love this. And then you retweet it, trying to dunk on me. For sure, Duncan trying to dunk on me. And it's just like, dude, how am I getting called a loss on this? This is exactly what I would think of as a perfect dessert. Fruit, whipped cream, and a cookie. Boom.
Some say cookie, some say pizza.
Call it whatever you want, but it had nothing to do with cooked fruit and cheese.
Have you been to many birthday parties in your life?
I've been to a couple.
Have you ever been where somebody had a cookie cake?
A cookie cake.
A cookie cake.
I don't think so.
Have you been to any? Have you ever had cookie cake?
I don't think I have had cookie cake.
Oh my god! Well,
I've had ice cream cake.
Is ice cream
definitely
cake
is better than cookie cake?
So we'll just do this again. Yeah, I agree. Fudgy the Whale is the all-time best birthday cake. Shout out to Carvel. You're way too far away. But so, do you consider it cake or ice cream?
The cake, if it's made out of ice cream.
Ice cream cake. It's got it can have places for candles. It's got name written in it. That screams cake.
Yeah, but it's ice cream, right?
Is it ice cream or
you got to keep it? You got to keep it. It's an ice cream cake.
It's right, cake. The last one. It's a cake.
It's ice cream in the form of a cake. Yeah.
No, because I've seen ice cream. You know, sometimes at parties they'll put out cake and then they'll also put out ice cream. I've seen people put out ice cream with ice cream cake. So
okay, well that's kind of strange.
I mean, unless you really like ice cream cake.
Yeah,
and ice cream. I guess my point is, cookie cake is a cake. Ice cream cake is a cake. So ipso facto, the pizza, this fruit pizza, what was it called again? Like fruit pizza?
Fruit pizza.
Fruit pizza.
Sure.
It's pizza. It's whatever it says it is.
That's just not true. It's not true.
But it was a pizza. It looked like a pizza to me.
It looked like a pizza, and that's why they called it a fruit pizza, but it was actually a dessert.
I've had pizza for dessert. You haven't had pizza as dessert?
I mean, I've had pizza at all times of the day, sure, but...
Yeah, what do they say? Never... Pizza in the morning, pizza in the evening, and pizza at dessert time.
Who says that?
I think Pizza Bagels. And that's clearly...
Not Totino's?
I don't know if they own Pizza Bagels. I don't know. That's a good question.
Well, the fact is that is not pizza. You call it whatever you want, but that was a beautiful dessert with uncooked fruit, whipped cream, and a cookie cake. That was a cookie cake, basically.
I don't know. Might need another Twitter poll on this one.
I don't know, but anyway, that was the least of the Twitter drama. I happened to notice that you got into a few different battles here this week, and one of them I looked into, and it was some ape, and I was blocked by him. I don't even know what happened there.
Yeah, and Wolvie also got blocked. So I encourage the pineapples and listeners out there just to see if you were blocked by what was it, like Mutant Ape Aurelius or something, some nonsense,
something like that. Yeah,
something like that. But
Aurelius, I believe.
But we got into it about something. One of these people looking for a fight. When I said something, I was putting words in his mouth. And when somebody else said something, he was like, "Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense." Like, geez, what the hell is this? So. Either they're not taking us seriously, so I don't think we should take Mutant Ape Aurelius seriously, if you ask me. But then I noticed, and I don't even, you know me, I don't look for trouble. I'm very,
never.
I
shy away from it.
Yeah, I don't want anything to do with the spotlight, attention.
You are so humble.
Right, I'm so humble, as covered lots of times on this Pinecast already. But anyways, I was mentioned in some kind of tweet or something that Joey TV mentioned, and then I went to go look at the tweet and I couldn't see it. So then I look and I'm blocked by Joey TV. So, this week's getting worse. So I figured, so we had, as many people know, our biggest Pinecast so far was Ivory Jones. That was a great one. We ran into this drama right before he came on. I don't know, a few days before we
Earlier that week, yeah.
So anyways, can you want to explain what that drama was about?
It started with
the challenge.
a 4th of July challenge where in order to redeem it, Theta Drop screwed up, and instead of needing 2 Synergy, you needed 2 The Stage NFTs from American Idol. And one person went out and bought those 2 Stage NFTs and
Who day was
completed the
that?
challenge. I don't know who that was. I'm not mentioning names here.
Okay.
They completed that challenge and they minted 1 of 1, and it was the only one minted. But obviously Ivory had plans for these tokens, and he's not going to use a token that people need to go out and buy American Idol NFTs for that you can't even buy. There was 100 of them. There was only one on the market, so it was like no one could do this. But he went out and immediately redeemed it, and it turned into a giant mess. He eventually ended up selling the 1 of 1, and the person who bought it allowed it to be burned. And I don't know, there was some kind of Ivory takes care of his people, so that person got taken care of. But then maybe a week later, all of a sudden he's like throwing dirt on Ivory, saying like that he's not. Well, it started with with him.
Time out. So he started selling off his Symbies. Right.
Well, yeah, he got out of it. Yeah, he's pretty much off the Theta Drop.
He was so upset about that, or for whatever. It seemed like he was just upset because the sales were so super low. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. So I mean, whatever he decided.
But yes, he sold out of it, right? Yeah. So then he's out because you need to own a Symbi NFT to be on the Symbi Discord,
right?
And so he was out. So then so I'm tapping you back in.
So now there's some kind of a tweet, and it's about communication, and Ivory says something, and then he responds saying like, oh yeah, but you wouldn't communicate with me. Ivory, I don't know of a creator out there that communicates more regularly than him, and he's just very open. He's not showing all of his cards, but if somebody has a question, he'll answer it without giving anything away that he needs to hold tight. So he kind of refuted it. And then he brought up something about, like, he posted a link. I didn't go on the link, but it was like basically something about using other assets in the game and almost like accusing of malfeasance almost, So Ivory was like, in my Discord, I gave credit to the person that did this. He's making the skins. It was about weapons. If there's weapons that are available that I can just do skins on, then I'm going to save a bunch of time doing that.
He's
done all the art for the NFTs, and he's got a bunch of other things that he's putting together right now. And if it's going to save time on this massive project that he's doing, then I don't see anything wrong with that. And then Joey TV piped in and was like, oh man, it's a shame that, someone would use somebody else's art as their NFT project. And he just basically butt his head in to something without knowing anything about it. And it was very strange. He's saying how the community is split down the middle, but it's like, dude, who's split down the middle? You guys are there's only 2 people I see right now that's driving it. And yeah, we're all coming at you because you're in the wrong. And Ivory's got a community of passionate people that are going to back him up, especially because he's right and you have no idea what you're talking about. So that sets the stage for wherever this is going.
The day we released our Ivory podcast, he was on Ultralight, and Ultralight brought this up. So I didn't feel like it was even necessary to bring up because it seemed like it was over. Because what happened was I found, now if I can just bring myself back into this thing, I just found it funny that Joey TV was upset that Ivory was using skins that he acquired legally to do. And
that he gave credit for in the Discord.
Yes.
Like everybody in Discord knew that he did that.
Right.
He told us.
A couple of things I found funny with this. And like I said, I like to avoid controversy. So
you sure do.
But I sure do. But I just wanted to bring the facts to light because I just found it funny that your boy was blocked, me, from Joey TV. I can't watch Joey TV anymore. But so what happened was I mentioned to Joey, like, hey, Mr. TV, you have this. He's taken stuff that's available to purchase and he's making it his own. And that's not right. And then I think I posted a picture of his NFT of him sucking up to Mitch with the picture of Mitch.
Yeah.
Mitch Liu. And it's like the same. So he used this open source picture of Mitch Liu, and then he made his own thing. Oh, he made his own thing, just like Ivory made his own thing. But
right.
But what I also found strange was then I was confronted, I believe, with I'm I'm anti-freedom of speech. Like, no, you got dumb shit to say. Go ahead. Like, Twitter's like perfect for that. There's no shortage of geniuses on Twitter. That's a guarantee. But I just found it odd, and I was just trying to make him understand what he was saying, because he's attacking another artist,
right,
who operates on Discord primarily, but they're on THETA Drop platform, so they're two artists for the same thing. And then instead of basically reaching out to him and saying, "Hey, blah blah blah," I'm sure Ivory would have just went right into it, which eventually they did anyway.
right.
I was told,
Yeah.
but no. So I'm accusing of trying to silence him. Like, no, I said I wouldn't call someone out because, one, you didn't know what the fuck was going on. Sorry, TV. You didn't know what the hell was going on. And then the truth comes out, and then you look like a fool. And then I guess to save face, you block Magnum. Now I'm gonna sleep fine at night. I just thought it was funny. I got blocked by a TV, a Joey TV. So I don't know if anyone else did. I wanted to quash that because I thought it was quashed. Sounds like it wasn't quashed after the blockage, so I had to re-quash the quash of Ivory basically saying you're wrong. So I think that's kind of settled, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, it seems settled. I don't understand why the attack in the first place. This whole thing just has me very confused. Like, I've given up on trying to figure out why people do what they do. But yeah, I mean,
it's just completely bonkers. I don't understand it. But yes,
none of it makes any sense.
None of it makes any sense. And so we had Ivory on, and we're like a 56th rated Pinecast. I think there's 55 Pinecasts ahead of us in the rankings. And we didn't feel that was newsworthy to bring up
at the time,
because it's a misunderstanding.
Right.
But then it seems like then it's not a misunderstanding if I'm getting blocked. So now all of a sudden Joey's accusing me of trying to silence his freedom of speech. Now he's silencing me from his speech. I don't know. Call up your cable providers, your satellite providers, and just cut the cord. You don't need Joey TV. So I think that's all I'm going to talk about that.
All right. Well, I'm glad you got that off your chest. So actually earlier today, our boy Macastic, he put together a cool little a poll. What would you call it?
Kind of like a voting apparatus.
A survey. Yeah.
Survey, sure. Voting apparatus.
Survey says.
Right.
So he took all the customs and he's going through, and people get to vote 1 to 5 stars on each of the customs. So that just had me curious, Mags. Other than yourself, you can't pick Magnum.
Of course.
If you had a top 5 that you could just open up your wallet and have in there, who are you going with?
Pine DeLorean is just phenomenal.
Yes.
I think that is my favorite, and that's my favorite. But then also, this is weird because this guy we don't talk about. He seems a bit quieter, also on the boards too. But the Hangover one, the pineapple over.
Okay.
I think it's called.
Yeah. With the baby. Yeah.
He's got a freaking baby. It's amazing. So those 1, 2. Oh man. I wouldn't kick any of them out of bed, obviously, but I mean, I like Spider-Man.
Okay.
And I like the Deadpool.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
If it wasn't for the Pine Goose, I probably would have liked the Child. But it's essentially the same thing, except it's got bananas over its eyes. You know? So those ones really. Homer Simpson too.
Okay. Because
I'm a huge Simpsons fan, but those really stick out to me as. So what about you?
I mean, when you start to think about it, you kind of want to get a branded one, right? Because I think these ones that have the branding, those have the biggest capability of getting huge.
Sure.
And along those lines,
like a
Magnum, and along those lines, also Pine DeLorean. He's definitely in my top 5. Deadpool, I also had in my top 5. The other ones, I like the Shredder. I like that Shredder one with his little tool there, his mixing tool.
Yeah, he goes by Blender.
Blender. My apologies. Blender. Yep. And then the other 2 I went. I like the Ninja Apple, the one that Rare Robot has.
Okay, that looks
basically
like Deadpool.
Yeah, exactly.
Blue, right?
Deadpool's brother. And the last one I would go with, I love that Dark Viking, dude. That one is sick.
Oh, that's a
So,
good
I mean,
one.
but like you said, I wouldn't kick any of them out of bed. There's a few that, I would be less thrilled about getting, but they're all really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's just another arbitrary way to gauge,
Yeah.
by chance is he looking to do something else with this website or these results?
I'm not sure what he's looking to do.
It seems like a weird thing.
I think he just kind of off of a whim chose to do this, but I'm not sure.
Well, it's very cool actually to have his rarity website, right, for the pines.
Yeah.
One thing somebody's brought up to me is they really like the low hanging fruit. They don't have
definitely.
that on THETA Drop.
Yeah.
That'd be cool though. But I mean, there's ways to set parameters.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I think
you can list by lowest price. Yeah, but
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I just had one other thing here. I saw
Okay.
that Andrea, she had posted the other day on July 31st, and she said August is going to be an incredible month.
What?
Yeah. Do you have any insight on what that means? Because Theta is up 18% since she said that.
Well, she should keep saying it, I think.
I wasn't sure if she was talking about that or maybe she was talking about Dragon Primes.
I mean, that's just one of the reasons. Because if that was the case, wouldn't she just say, like hashtag Cindy's?
Yeah, she mentioned Theta. She tagged Theta. So I just found that very interesting because now Theta is up 18%. I haven't really heard any news or anything major, but yeah, I just found that curious. I wasn't sure if you had any insight over there because
I'm hanging by a string right now after these cans have been opened. I have no information. They don't use me for my brain, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. All right. Well, very good, Mags. Good luck with your openings this coming week. We're all rooting for you to get that zombie. It's due. It's probably your next one that you're going to open. I would assume.
Yeah, I've been saying that for the last 72.
All right, but until then, I did have an apology. That's coming up in the next segment where we get to meet with Twitch Pixel Studios and learn about their NFT project on THETA Drop.
After these messages.
This week's episode is brought to you by Mega's Mutant Pine Derivatives, the perfect mutated addition to your NFT collection. Mega will take your pine and make it shine. Check out some of his creations on Twitter at MegVdev. That's at MEGVDEVTH. Tell him Poppin' Mag sent you. This week's episode is brought to you by THETA Pendants. Find the perfect gift for yourself or the NFT lover in your life. Choose from a wide variety of available options or inquire about a custom print. Each pendant is made of stainless steel and is shipped with tracking information. You can find them on Twitter at PendantsTheta. If you have a product you would like to exposure for, then promote it on Pops and Mags Pinecast.
Papa Max, yeah. Papa Max. Papa Max Pinecast. Papa Max Pinecast.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight joining us, we have two great guests, Natalie and Jeff from Twitch Pixel Studios. If you're not aware who they are, they're on THETA Drop. These two have recently launched an NFT on THETA Drop, the Unicorn Dick. And as I've just been informed, that Dick stands for detective. So I just want to clear the air, correct, Natalie and Jeff?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Old school vernacular from the 1960s, the Dick Tracy days.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. So, hey, welcome to the Pinecast.
Yeah, thanks for having us, guys.
Thank you.
Stoked to be here.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a dick corn. Is that what we're looking at here on the candy corn?
We've got four main characters that make up the main show, and then there's going to be kind of an expanded universe of animated shorts around that kind of feature the collectible characters we're releasing as we move forward. But yeah, your main characters are Mosley Flynn, Dirk Bentley, Cornhole Corningham, and Flick Rogers.
So Just in looking at it quick on your site here, it looks like Korn is he's the main detective. Is that accurate?
No, Mosley Flynn, the unicorn-looking guy, the
Oh,
actual.
Flynn is.
Yeah, so Mosley
Okay.
Flynn is the unicorn dick himself, and then
Oh,
his best friend and fellow street urchin growing up together, they founded Unicorn Detective Agency to kind of track down Flynn's mother after she went missing. And as they got older, living on the mean streets of Mythigan, they kind of formed this company together in order to start solving crimes. And from there, they built out their team. Dirk Bentley is a llama from our universe. They got sucked through a portal into theirs to experience this crazy, zany, candy-coated world. Kind of depraved candy-coated world. Like I said in my description, it's kind of a smash between Rick and Morty and Adventure Time. And then Flick Rogers, which is the ex-drug dealing fly who has a condo built in their house plant inside their detective agency.
wait. So Flick is a fly?
Yeah.
I swear I thought he was like a bomb.
Oh yeah, I
He
can
looks-
see that. Yeah,
Like
totally.
a bomb with wings.
Yeah, bomb with wings. Yeah, he's totally. He's
I-
a fly. We're pulling an Ant-Man with him, where he's like the badass, kick-ass kind of guy. He's also a bit of a techie, and he's also like their informant. His contacts from his drug dealing days are very handy to them.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah,
So there's
Sheriff.
3 good guys.
Yeah, four good guys.
They're all good.
Well, he.
Oh, Flick's
so-
a good guy.
Oh yeah,
In a sense, I mean, he's got a shady past. We can definitely say that.
that's true.
Yeah, we try to sprinkle our lore into these NFT collections, and as you collect more and as we release more and more of the lore of both the world and the characters themselves and the secondary characters and kind of the storyline are all going to kind of be sprinkled in there.
There's gonna be quite a few little tiny characters. Pretty excited about those.
Yeah,
the little ones.
we're kind of working on the world of Unicorn Dick being, well, it's Unicorn Deck Investigations is actually the name of their actual detective agency. But the world itself, the city of Rainbowopolis, the outskirts of Mythigan, and then the cave-like structures under the city called the Underbelly, it's kind of where all this stuff happens. And there's a whole world of citizens of different species and different types and different zany characters. And there's also a whole world of mini citizens, like all these tiny characters that have their own little like entryways in the buildings through tiny doors and stuff. It
Yeah.
all kind of play into the greater absurdity of the world.
Oh yeah.
You mentioned Rick and Morty and Adventure Time.
Yeah.
What I know from both of them is there's a huge stories embedded in both of those shows. Something is that going to play out?
Oh
in
yeah,
this-
100%. I worked with the Rick and Morty team working on another show of Dan Harmon's called Harmon Quest, which was a live action kind of D&D session. But anytime they're talking in character, they're actually animated, and our whole animation team worked on that. And I learned a lot of the storytelling stuff that Dan Harmon uses in reading Rick and Morty and how he really drives characters. And our story is actually pretty robust already based on the lore that I built up. I'll give you a bit of a spiel, the spiel I usually give, which is the universe started with the great two dragons, Ordo and Chaos, Order and Chaos, and they gave birth to a daughter named Imaginatia. And she's this little baby dragon whose imagination was so powerful, she created the beings of our existence, our world, the different multiverse of worlds, including Unicorn Dick's world. And the world of Unicorn Dick was one of the first that came out of her mind, but because her imagination was so strong, it started overtaking her like seizures, and it didn't give life enough time to survive, and she was starting to die. So her parents had to sacrifice themselves, their scales becoming the stars, their flesh becoming the planets, and their two hearts encapsulated the baby dragon to slow her mind to the beat of the universe, to allow life to exist for more than just a blip. And then the first great unicorns came about. First there was Kronos, time, there was THETA, which is life, and then there was Mors, which was death, and from them came the elemental unicorns, and they became what was called the first great herd. And then, of course, a crust formed around the hearts, and it made a heart-shaped planet, and that's where the first city and denizens of Unicornitopia ended up residing. And there's the main core of Rainbowopolis, which is the big shining city in the center, and there's a big crater around it, which goes into a hole underneath it, into the caves that lead into the arteries of the planet that flow the rivers of sugar to the hearts at the core. And down there is where all the depraved people lived in the underbelly. And on the outskirts, on the outside of the main city, is the kind of more poor district, kind of middle-class district of Mythigan, where Unicorn Dick Investigations has been founded and where a lot of the crime and criminal element live. And that kind of all feeds into the greater story of our main character, Flynn and Cornhole, who grew up on the mean streets of Mythigan as orphans. And together they grew up thinking they were alone until Flynn found out who his mother really was, and then found out she had gone missing nearly 20, 25 years prior. And so they founded Unicorn Dick Investigations to start researching into his mom, but of course they had to take on cases to pay the bills and to pay the rent too. So there's a mix of like side stories and side missions, and then there's this overarching story of like what happened to Flynn's mother, and what kind of happened to this world to end up as depraved and horrible as it is, with these sugar barons who hold the kind of like oil barons of our world, who hold hostage the sugar, which basically is their oil, their food, their everything in this world. And kind of that corruption of the city and how that ties to Flynn and his mom's backstory.
Yeah,
Wow.
how's that story for you?
That sounds amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So you either just made that up, or you've been thinking about this for a long time, and this is a long time in the making here, it seems.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've been working, Natalie and I have been together since high school, so we're high school sweethearts. So the last 20 years have been developing these ideas, and Unicorn Dick is probably about a seven-year-old project that we've been developing. We built all the character rigs for the main characters.
Yeah, spent lots of time on those for sure.
The full 360 rigs.
Oh yeah.
We built a lot of the concept art. We've done a lot of this. All the scripts are written for season 1. I've got 4 seasons planned, but I mean, who knows how far we make it? Depends on the fans, really. And then we've been building the environments. We're trying to work Unreal Engine into our workflow to do real-time environments that we can throw these 2D characters into. We're trying out a bunch of new things, as well as like the style we chose is nice and simple, so we can do more stuff with the fans. Because the big thing is this expanded universe of shorts we want to make. So there's the main core show you watch like a regular show, but then the characters we're going to release as we get closer and closer to full production will be released as NFTs people can collect, and they'll get to be part of live storytime events, which means like Natalie, as an artist internally, she can sit down and produce a small short from script to screen and learn all the ins and outs while including the audience, and they can come into a live broadcast with her where they can ask questions, shoot out jokes and ideas that she will write into a script. And then that script will be developed into a full short featuring the NFT characters that they've collected. And then it makes those characters more rare and more unique. And it features them both in our show as background characters, but can also bring them to the forefront in these kind of bite-sized stories we tell that fill out the more expanded lore of our city. Kind of like the classic days of Star Wars, where George Lucas would let people have a part in their world with their expanded universe.
Very cool. So I don't know if you guys have listened to us before, but one of the things that we do well here is apologize. So I just want to, before we get too deep into this, I want to send you guys an apology. I had mentioned the Unicorn Dick challenges kind of cluttering up our challenge tabs at one point, prior to knowing really anything about this. So I apologize for that. And I also apologize for not really understanding or knowing anything about this drop prior to this drop happening. And I feel like a lot of people probably didn't either. But I do want to say that just before we popped on here, I did buy a pack at the drop.
Nice.
And I opened it just now. I didn't open it yet before. And I got a flick.
Nice.
So he's my favorite character by far. Nice. At this point.
Yeah.
But it seems I got Legendary League base, Gears of Metal desk, massively effective shelf, which is definitely not my shelves, are not massively effective. But I got the Unicorn Dick 1 poster, Omnipass overlay in the acid background.
Nice.
So are all of these generative things, are they from your stories as well, or are these kind of just thrown in there as art for the NFTs?
So those are actually tied to the event that we held that the Omnipass got you, which was a live event with the voice actors, David Hayter from Metal Gear Solid, Jennifer Hale from, pretty much everything, Ratchet and Clank, Star Wars The Old Republic, like you name it. We had Camila Khan from Marvel Avengers, Sandra Sad. We had Jeff Leach, Ghost from Call of Duty. And we had Eric Bra, who's Draven and Jax from League of Legends. And he's also Mosley Flynn himself, Unicorn Dick himself from our show. So we have a lot of connections to these great voice actors. And so what we did was, with that drop, it got you access using the THETA Pass to log into our site and watch us live and ask questions to these voice actors. Well, we did kind of a roundtable panel talking about inspiration in animation, inspiration in video games, how they built their careers and the advice they can give to people. You can actually watch the whole thing on YouTube right now. It went on for about 2 hours. I think
it was amazing. It was
so inspiring. And so what we did was we sprinkled in all these aspects of the NFTs that were kind of homages to
Yeah.
the video games that they've been voice actors in, and that's where you get the Gears of Metal and the Massively
Yeah.
Effective and the
Gotcha.
calls and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, it was so fun drawing those. Oh my gosh.
Very cool. So now I know we had chatted back and forth a little bit beforehand, and I know one of your things what you brought up was just kind of like some issues with the current industry, like how the animation industry is.
Yeah.
What can you explain what some of that is? And is THETA actually able to assist with some of those issues?
Yeah, I mean, I really hope so. I mean, Natalie felt the art industry on your end from working at the art store, right? A little about that.
Yeah, they really don't. They don't make it easy to be a part of what they call their community of. How do I describe it?
It's like their community of artists, right?
Yeah, like they're elite, and if you don't paint a certain way, then you can't join the club. Well, we definitely didn't want that air to what we were doing. We wanted to involve the community, truly involve them.
Yeah. And that's where our expanded universe kind of idea spawned from. And then with me working on Harmon Quest and seeing the Rick and Morty guys and how the industry works from the inside, we generally are like, we're supposed to make a certain amount of an hour and everything. At the end of the day, it was just above minimum wage with all the overtime we had to put in and all that. And then on top of that, you get like a 6-month contract, and they kind of wash their hands of you, and you've got to struggle and compete for another job. And then you have what we have lovingly and affectionately coined around this office, the Firefly syndrome, which is an amazing show such as Firefly that gets canceled because it's aired out of order, or there wasn't enough people that were watching it on their platform or whatever, and it gets canceled even though there's a huge demand for more of it. Imagine if we could put the power back in the fans' hands. They want more, they pay and get more.
Exactly.
And so we really wanted to look at all these alternatives. And NFTs weren't our first choice. We looked at crowdfunding, Kickstarter, Indiegogo, all that stuff. We looked at doing just like merch sales as pre-orders to fund the show. And then I kind of, just at the kind of big, just before the apes became big and the CryptoPunks became big, I kind of got caught into the crypto game. And then that led me down to NFTs. And then when we met THETA, we were really stoked because I'm not a big fan of the environmental impact all of these blockchains can cause. I was a little worried about kind of the lashback you get from people who are kind of getting rug pulled and don't really like the way things are going. And how do you give them protections, and how do you protect them and do things morally and ethically? And when we met THETA and we saw that their blockchain is environmentally friendly, that they make sure they vet their creators and make sure that they push forward only with people that they believe they can trust will actually follow through on what they say they're going to do, And all of these kind of things fell into place, and we just met eye to eye on so many different things. To me, and I think Natalie can kind of agree and attest to, is that it really is about community. I mean, that's a big thing that drew me to the Secret Pineapple Society and all you guys, is that you guys have a thick, solid community that is passionate about the project. And to me, the only way forward is to take people from the traditional Hollywood model of a passive viewing experience to an interactive viewing experience, even if that means that you own one of our NFTs. It gives you access to our private Discord channels where you get to be there while we're animating and working on the show, and we can teach you what we do and show you the behind the scenes and do voice actor sessions and record it with you and show you guys, and then release episodes and shorts to you guys early before we release it to the public. And then kind of evangelize the whole community to be like our marketing machine and be like, hey, we helped make this. We helped support this. We saw all the work they put into it behind the scenes. So we're going to promote it and tell all our friends and family about it on the social streams and stuff like that to make it bigger for all of us. And if all of us can benefit from that by raising the exposure of our NFTs and raising the exposure of people's collections, everybody wins, opposed to the way that it's currently being done in the traditional route, where only the people at the very top win, 3 or 4 of them win, Like even our studio, we're striving to make it so that the artists internally, we grow an audience around them as well as Twitch Pixel. So even if they leave our studio one day, they leave with an audience who might sustain their artist career and their animation career with them well into the future, past working with us. And help them bring their own ideas to light, without having all these gatekeepers and all these people kind of standing in the way saying, I dictate whether or not you succeed. And that to me is such a backwards way of doing it. And it's the reason why we have all these shows being revamped and redone and rehashed and prequeled and sequeled. And instead of bringing new ideas to the table and it's really hard to push a new idea forward in the current industry.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really cool point, animation and just any live action or TV show, whatever, you get drawn in. So this is what happens, and this is a frustration I have, is I get drawn into it, and it doesn't matter how good it is. It might be on a network, and the network really might not do a good job of advertising it. It's really good, but it just doesn't get the attention it needs, and then they cancel it. So now I wasted a whole season or two invested in this show and characters that I care about, and then
You poor guy.
and then it's over. And then it's over. Well, so, sometimes they'll. I remember there was this one show on NBC some time ago where I think there was 4 episodes left in the season, and they announced that it's done. I'm like, well, then I'm done watching this. This was pointless. This seems like an interesting way to. You're going to get the fan base, and then it's going to go from there because the fans are going to want to see this.
Yeah,
what
exactly.
It sounds like.
Yeah, and how cool would it have been if you could have interacted with the artists who drew on the shows that you love the most? Like follow along as they're actually creating the episodes that you fall in love with, and maybe even involving your own character in there, like of the NFT that you hold. Like just generally getting in there and being as close to them as you possibly can, because animating is fun. We don't want to do it in secret behind closed doors. We want to involve the people who actually support what we do and love what we do.
Yeah, and for me, a big thing that I learned when I was at Bardell is I expected to go and work at these animation studios and meet other people as eager as I am to make my own ideas, but most of them just wanted to go and do the 9 to 5 because they're so burnt out and mistreated and they've lost their passion. And these are the people who literally spent $80, $90, $120,000 of their money to go to school to learn animation and do all this. The most passionate people about animation losing their passion because the industry just grinds them to a halt. And there's got to be a way to fix that, as well as fix the viewer experience, where the viewers lose something that they're so engaged with and love so deeply, and the characters that they fall in love with. Imagine the ability to revive that yourself just by collecting NFTs that help the artists continue to make more. And that's really why Unicorn Dick is in such a unique, simplistic style. Like a lot of our characters have stick arms and legs in some of the characters, and there's other more complicated characters too. But the idea was to make an animation style that was cheaper and faster to do, so that the community could really provide what's needed to pay the artists for their time. Because really, at the end of the day, your time is the only currency you're born with. It's how you spend it. And we need to buy back our time from the slave wage jobs and hire as many artists as we can and give them a sustainable income that's long-term, that can help them grow their skill set at the same time as pay their bills. And that's what this is really all about, is how do we transition away from a more predatory system to a more community-based system. And I think engaging with the community and getting them close with the people who make the product, that is truly the way forward. And I think THETA is just one of the big players that are starting to see that, and they're really pushing forward on making that happen.
Yeah. So now with your drop, right, I don't think anyone can argue that it was a smashing success. The thing sold out immediately.
Yeah.
What do those NFTs, I know you said that it allows you access to the Discord and to see some behind the scenes stuff. Is there anything else that NFT brings for as far as utility?
Yeah, so we're actually working on another drop that's going to kind of tie into ownership of your current NFTs. I can't talk too much about it because it's such a, this is more of a tease for you, but we're working on a mini game for collectors and the people who want to, support and get behind the show, where you can kind of do follow along in a murder mystery kind of idea. And eventually, based on what you collect and stuff like that, you can solve these cases and with us grow this universe and grow the stories and the number of characters that we have, as well as kind of hitting 2 birds with 1 cup by allowing the characters we draw on these NFTs to become tertiary or crowd characters or background characters that appear in the show. So that means that the art we draw for the NFTs can eventually become art that are used directly in the show, which saves us a bit of time and gives us kind of more incentive to create this stuff up front opposed to after the fact, And so we're growing, we're gamifying, and we're kind of trying to figure out our own tokenomics to try and build this new, unique system that can help you guys have a little more fun and get more engaged with our world, all kind of starting with this first collection we launched. And the collecting, of course, the extra challenges and the airdrops. And in fact, we got another airdrop coming at the end of this week for everybody too.
Hell yeah!
Oh wow!
This will have already happened. Yeah.
Yeah, looking forward to that though.
That'll happen.
This is going to
before
come
this
out
gets out.
next week.
Yeah. Okay.
Breaking news, guys.
Yeah.
You already got the drop.
Breaking news in hindsight.
All right. Let me see here. So I was on Twitch Pixel, right? So .com. So obviously we've talked about Unicorn Dick. I have a basic understanding of that one. I know you got 3 others on there. You
Yeah.
got Unity One, you got Lost Hope, and Beat Monsters. Lost Hope kind of caught my eye. Is that a parody on New Hope?
No, actually, it's not a parody on New Hope, but it was around the time where I had lost my job. So what had happened was we were working on another cartoon, and unfortunately, it was created by Louis C.K. And then he had his sexual debacle for the Me Too campaign that basically cost about 100 of us our jobs. And I just got frustrated, and I had literally lost hope. And so I kind of took the negative energy I had there and poured it into a project, and that's where Lost Hope was kind of born. And it's more of a Battlestar Galactica smashed with X-Files with a smattering of comedy on top of it. It's more my comedy drama. It's actually my baby. It's the one I really want to produce really well one day. I've got a 3-season arc that I really want to tell. And that one it's a really cool concept, really cool idea, kind of starting in the 1950s with the gray aliens in Roswell, and then leading up to the current day 2030s, 2040s, or near future, where 3 arcs were built, only one escaped Earth after the alien apocalypse, and now they're kind of outmanned, outgunned, and underprepared, trying to gallivant through space to stay alive and safeguard the last of humanity. And they're kind of our last hope. And it's all up to Clara Hope. That's her actual name. And she's got this ragtag misfit crew of security agents she's got to use to keep their ship safe and deal with the fallout. And through their struggle and the stress and the anxiety comes their coping mechanism, which is the comedy.
Very cool. So are all of these, like, your intention is to turn all of these into short animations that are actually like seasons of episodes?
Well, actually, all of them except Beat Monster. So Unity 1 and Lost Hope are full 20-minute, 24-minute episodes. About 12, 13 a season is the goal. Unicorn Dig is 12-minute episodes, 13 a year, or 13 a season. And Beat Monsters is supposed to be about 5 minutes per episode. They're more musical based. They're more like a mini music video that tells a little story. And that one's for kids, of course. Well, family, all ages, it really is what it's for. So each one's kind of got its own path. And if we can prove that this system that we're trying to build works with Unicorn Dig as our first kind of flagship, then I will consider the other shows and release NFT collections for them and do the same thing. It's all about proof of concept, essentially. Can we build this MVP product and say this system works? We can use the fans and show the fans the way to be involved and get them to help fund these things and really make it a new way of producing animation altogether, that the whole industry, even maybe Disney one day, will look at us as a business model and be like, hey, these guys figured something out. You know, they know how to leverage community. They understand that people want this stuff and those people are willing to pay to help get it made, you know? So each show is its own beast, but at the same time, it's all about that proving ground.
How far off are we from a premiere?
Well, that all depends. We have to earn enough to pay for an episode. An episode's animation is not cheap because it's so labor intensive. But regardless of how long it takes, me and Natalie are working on it every day. In fact, the animatic for the first full pilot episode of Unicorn Dick is about 95% done. We're just working with Eric Braw to get some voice stuff done. I'm doing some final timing in the animatic. And like I said, the character turnarounds for the actual full production are done. We've got a bunch of 3D sets in Unreal Engine that we're kit bashing together to use as reference for our backgrounds and our environments. It's just a matter of time. The quicker and the more funding we get, the faster things go. That's how animation basically works. So we're really trying to push forward on just like, okay, what do we have now? What can me and Nat do on our own? And we're just going to chip at it every day. And then when the more funding that comes in, the more artists we can hire on, the more people with talent we can bring in, the faster it gets produced. So it's really up to the fans how quickly things turn around and the collectors and whoever wants to support, really.
So with the full set of the NFTs that you dropped selling out, what exactly is it that a fan can do at this point further help with the funding?
Yeah, so I mean, keep collecting, keep trading. That definitely helps. The secondary market always helps. But I think the big thing is keep an eye out for the newer drop that we're working on, the gamification drop. That one's going to have a lot of stuff kind of built into it that'll help there. We did just drop a new merch store. In fact, twitchpixel.com now has a new menu item called Shop, and you can go get hoodies. We made puzzles for each of our shows, posters. We've got stickers up for sale there too. All of that kind of stuff goes a long way because essentially, like I said, it's about buying our time back. And if I can make enough that we can survive off what we're selling and the products and the merch that we sell, then we can take all of our time back from the world, buy it back, and focus 100% on that. And then anything past that goes towards finding another artist who wants to dedicate themselves to this, and we can pay them and buy their time back from the world and their day jobs in order to have them 100% focus on this. And the more that we get there, the bigger the better. And we also have our Patreon, which we're trying to get up to. We have a bunch of goals set on the Patreon, which will help bring in enough income to keep that flow going. This won't be like a typical TV show because, again, we're building a whole new business model here. Episodes will get released much slower. Like there's another show that I kind of equated to called The Venture Brothers, and sometimes it took 2 or 3 years between seasons to release a full season. So we're looking at doing things differently. The only way, again, like I said, we build faster is by bringing on more people. The only way to do that is to make sure that we can pay them. So I want to make sure people get paid well. I want to make sure they have a living wage because I can't stand seeing people suffer financially and the stress and the anxiety that causes. And it will cause their work to suffer too. So really, it's all about supporting on Patreon, supporting by buying some merch, and support by continuing to collect and buy and sell our NFTs. Really, that's what it comes down to.
Have you guys looked into the DRM from THETA, where it basically is like the gated pathway to your videos, and using NFTs in that way to release these episodes?
Yeah, actually, the first voice actor roundtable we did went through THETA Pass. You'd actually have to log in with your NFT, and in fact, if you own, now that you bought that NFT, the Good Game NFT, you can go to the events page on our website right now. And you can log in with THETA Drop under Connect THETA Drop, and you'll get a bunch of bonus perks that you get for it, which are things like the VOD download. You can download this live stream in HD. You also get a posters pack for each of our show that you can download HD posters. And if you log into our Discord and verify through us, you can get your VIP Discord role, which gives you access to those back-end channels. So yeah, right on the events page on twitchpixel.com, the very first, once you're on that events page, you'll see Connect THETA Drop, and that's using their THETA Pass technology. So we're looking into that a lot more, but again, they're still kind of in development on that end too. So we're kind of at their whim until things open up on the back end for creators to have a bit more control. So that was our first foray into it. We loved how it worked out, and I really hope we can leverage it in the future because I think you're right. There's an opportunity there to give kind of exclusivity and exclusive access to people who collect to the behind the scenes stuff, as well as the episodes ahead of launch to the public and things like that too. And I think that is a lot of good incentive to kind of be more engaged and get involved with us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we had Imagine Replay on about a month ago, and they are working with THETA, and they're streaming content through their service. And it would be, I don't know, have you guys ever heard of them?
Yeah, we've definitely heard of them.
Yeah.
In fact, we've been listening to your guys' episodes too. But I think that they're using THETA TV too, aren't they?
Not yet, no. But they said that there might be a way for them to hook up. They said there was some behind the scenes talks on that. So THETA TV is two different things right now.
Yeah, I'm hoping they kind of merge the two because like we were going to use Twitch for a lot of our behind the scenes stuff, but right now we're kind of doing everything as VODs instead of live stream. But we want to move to the live stream stuff, and I'd love to keep it within the THETA family. And I'd really like, because I know I've been talking to THETA about the idea of using the THETA Pass to have exclusive streams you can only access through the THETA Pass on THETA TV. And if that comes down the pipeline, and if it sounds like these guys are kind of looking at doing that, then that's a huge advantage and a huge win for both THETA and the THETA TV community and the THETA Drop community. And I hope it gets there. And that's another thing I love about THETA Drop is that every time one of these projects comes up with a new idea and THETA helps them develop it to fruition, usually the rest of us creators then get access to it. And that is just such a beneficial thing,
Yeah. Definitely. So you said you got into the crypto world back in the days of, CryptoPunks. What was your first step into the crypto world?
My first step was, oh my God, what is this? Yeah, the second step was about 6 months of research, and then I started buying into things. In fact, THETA was one of the earlier coins I bought, and along with I bought another one called Tron, which is another service. I believe Sony's working with them too.
Yep.
I got a bit of Dogecoin, a bit of Shiba Inu, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, didn't we all?
A bit of ETH, yeah, same thing there. But honestly, I'm one of the more diamond hands kind of guy. I'm a long-term player. I believe that like the future of crypto is basically the Star Wars cred stick. It's interchangeable, galactic, galaxy-wide, in our case, solar system-wide, if Elon has anything to say about it. But yeah, I mean, I'm one of the long-term holders. I'm not a buy and sell trading guy trying to make money around every day trading and stuff. But I see the future of crypto as just, a simplified way for us to control our own finances and kind of democratize the entire globe in that respect. And NFTs are kind of another layer above that, because what I learned in my research, and what me and Natalie have both been looking at, is the NFT itself is not what's important, especially not the image part. The token itself is more important, but beyond the token itself, what's really important is that smart contract, because that's that smart contract that's going to allow me as a company to do things like, and Natalie's an animator on an episode. She animates on an episode, and now in perpetuity for lifetime, she gets a portion of the royalties on the episode she worked on. That's unheard of in the animation industry. And being able to profit share with your employees in perpetuity and have them be able to make money off the work that they put in just makes sense to me. And it's the way I believe in corporations were originally supposed to be. And they've kind of been warped into this more capitalistic kind of predatory way, where we can kind of step back with NFTs and start having these kind of different streams where you can share profit. I mean, I've heard of other NFT collections even sharing profits on royalties with their fans who've collected. And that's never been done before. That's huge change in how we do business. And to me, it's the best way forward, because think of all the people who, there's 100, 200 people who work on Rick and Morty. Imagine if every one of them, after their 6-month contract is up, was still making a couple $100 a month based on the royalties that come in from the show's success. That to me makes sense. Put the animators who are there in the brunt of it, doing all the grunt work, up there with the showrunners and the voice actors and the director. All of their names are at the front of the show. They make all the money, but why are the animators forgotten about as soon as the hard work's done, So find a way to include them forever, and you'll build a healthy relationship with your artists and your talent. You'll build a healthier relationship with your community, and you'll build a new way forward for the industry that allows new creativity and new ideas to be more commonplace, and I don't know, crypto as a whole, NFTs on top of it, everything Web3 in general is really just pushing me and everything I do towards a more democratized way of running a business.
So you're saying that these NFTs are more than just JPEGs? Because I got people telling me that I'm just a JPEG.
Oh, I hate
Yeah.
that.
That's just misinformation. That's misunderstanding. And you know what? I know where that comes from. NFTs are complicated. I'm still wrapping my head around them.
No, but you hit the nail on the head. I mean, they are JPEGs unless they have the smart contracts behind them. And it's okay for an NFT to just be a JPEG too, as long as it's, there's still room for art in this world.
Yes,
But
definitely.
the future of it is the smart contract and the many different things that the smart contracts can do. I completely agree with you.
Yeah, it's all about that utility. It's all about, like, I picture a world where I can have an NFT that I gave to somebody that's one of our characters in our show, and they can go to the sandbox, they can go to the metaverse, anywhere, and log in with that NFT, and we could have had that exact character with all their customizations in that world, and they could hop around all these different metaverses and be the character that they love so much, and like that, it's really that Ready Player One mentality of like, how do we take this disparate world of every IP has to be its own standalone thing from way back in the day to every IP can exist within this multiverse with each other. And that's really where it comes down to, like right down to our shows. Like I told you, the universe of Unicorn Dick was imaginated by this baby dragon. Well, that baby dragon, as she matured, imagined more mature worlds, including the world we physically live in right now. So we could show up in Unicorn Dick's world. But that plays into my other shows too. I have this kind of idea of a larger metaverse where the baby dragon also imagined the universe where Star Crusade or Unity 1 takes place, or where Lost Hope takes place, or even where Beat Monsters takes place. And those characters can cross over in minis and shorts and stuff like that too, that kind of bring that world together.
A metaverse, multiverse?
Yeah, exactly. And Eminem.
But going back to this kind of business model that you guys are looking to do, it seems like when this first episode does come out and it gets out there, and maybe it will take a little bit to catch on, but you're probably gonna have the people that want to see this, and then other people are eventually going to see it. Then they're going to want it to get it made. I remember, and I'm sure. And there was different situation. The Rick and Morty thing was a different situation in the beginning, where it was like a couple years or so before seasons.
Yeah.
But getting a good pilot, or the good episode to introduce this, and I really think it's going to be huge, because it just sounds so entertaining. But once that takes off, I think it's going to spread, and you're definitely going to have me as a fan, and I am going to be pushing it and trying to support any way I can for this project.
Oh, that means so much to me, man. Honestly, that's the part I love most, is like, even though our Discord is a little smaller right now, but the people who are there, they talk to us every day, and they encourage us every day. And I've had days where I've been depressed and down because Hollywood and Netflix and Amazon, we've pitched to these guys, and they just ignore people who either don't already have money or don't already know someone rich and famous to help spread the word, and that hurts the industry, in my opinion. And that's why we decided to do our own thing and look at alternative ways of doing things. And telling a good story is all I really care about. And I'm more of a storyteller than I am an artist. I'd rather write these stories, but I want to include as many people as possible. And like, it takes hundreds of people to make an episode of Rick and Morty. We're just 2 people right now, and we've achieved so much with just 2 of us. Imagine if we had the funding to do something. Imagine if Netflix decided to drop a pound of money on us. We could blow it up, And at the end of the day, it really comes down to it, is that the fans become the marketing machine because they want to see more. They want to be excited for the next episode. They tell their friends and family and get them involved. And now we have more money the next year to build something even bigger and better. Or if we make enough money to cover everyone's salaries to make an episode, great. Now what's left can be put into, let's make the pilot of Unity 1. Let's make the pilot of Lost Hope. We can kind of be a profit agnostic company where you don't need investors at the top because everything's paid for up front, which means all the profits you make can go into R&D of new concepts, new ideas. Maybe an animator in our studio has a great idea for their own show, and they can put a little pitch together, and they can pitch it to our community, and our community loves it. We can do an NFT drop for it. We can make a pilot episode with that. Now imagine that. Now we've got a pilot episode. We've got a community, which means a group of people who are already watching it. We can test merchandise on them, see if they like hoodies and stickers and puzzles and stuff. And we have scripts written for it. Now, instead of going to Netflix to pitch with just a script, which is what you normally do, you're going with assets completely built for a full season. You're going with a marketing machine that proves what people want to buy and sell. You're bringing an audience to them who will subscribe to their platform if our show is on it. And you're bringing everything they need to make many seasons of that show, including, like I said, the assets. Now, what more tantalizing offer do you need to bring to them? All the negotiating power kind of ends up in our hands at that point. And then they're just looking at us as a distribution platform. Because realistically, if you own the audience, that's what Netflix brings to the table. That's what Amazon brings to the table. They bring audience. If you own that audience already, you might not even need to be distributed on those platforms. You could probably release for free on YouTube and just get a massive following. And that's kind of the goal, is to blow it up internally so that these other platforms are just foaming at the mouth to get a piece of your action, right? And then that's beneficial to the collectors and the NFT holders. It's beneficial to our internal team who gets to grow their skill set and get a sustainable income. And it's beneficial to me and Nat because we get to tell the stories we freaking love, and we get to see your guys' smiling faces directly with us while we do it. And that to me is exhilarating.
Yes, exactly. Well said.
Cool. So just kind of going back to the crypto journey. When I was on your site, I noticed that there was also some citizens that were minted on Matic, Polygon.
Yeah.
What was that about?
So that was our original attempt at building out the expanded universe. They're being depreciated now, but we're going to be spinning out something similar, hopefully through THETA, is really what we want to do. So where the OmniPass on the Good Game thing gives you access to the behind the scenes and access to live events with our voice actors and our artists and stuff like that, the Citizen Collection was the characters who were going to appear in these shorts. And every time they appeared in the short, we had an open-end meta tag on the back that we could tag them with an episode number and a time code of when they appeared. And in those shorts, or even in the main episodes of our show, as background characters to make them more rare. So even if you got a common character of this generative set, they could become super rare because they appeared in a short or an episode. And that was our original foray. Now, again, we launched that collection right where rug pulls were just happening left, right, and center. The proof of trust wasn't there in the NFT space. So it didn't go the way we had hoped it gone. So we've kind of put that on the back burner now. And since we met THETA and saw how they were doing things, we're trying to shift everything now over to THETA. So we're working with our collectors who did collect some of those. I think only 17 sold, but they are the people who are still in our server to this day, still vocal and passionate about what we're doing. And they know we're transferring over to THETA now, and they're following us on that journey. So that original collection was kind of our first proof of concept for what we're trying to do. And now we're going to try and do everything through the THETA community.
So what is it that draws you to THETA that you like more than where you were over with Matic?
Well, first and foremost, Matic is a bit more complicated for people to get into. A lot of transfers between different cryptos before you can get Matic, and then a lot of kind of roadblocks to get that Matic into your wallet. And that, especially when we first started, Matic wasn't really on most central exchanges, and they weren't as easy to acquire. So I think that was a big kind of stumbling block for that first collection. And we learned a lot of lessons from it, though. Like, we learned how to manage NFTs, how to do smart contracts. We partnered with an awesome company called Flare Finance, who is now working with us to integrate directly to THETA. So we have a back end to ourselves to control staking and holding and rewards and token rewards for holding and all this kind of cool stuff. So it led us to a lot of good relationships, taught us a lot of ins and outs of NFTs, taught us what not to do, taught us where we should focus. And the thing that drew me to THETA really was their ethics about how they wanted to kind of quell the rug pulls by really focusing on who they work with and why, as well as the environmentally friendly use of their blockchain on that proof of stake. And of course, the fact that they eagerly wanted to work with us to try something new and try to help us build something new. Like, it was invigorating to have the first conversations with them, and they really heard us out about what we wanted to do and brought their own ideas to the table. And that first round of the Good Game collection was our first toe dip into THETA. And now we're like, okay, we know what they're all about. We know that they do well. We know their community is passionate. Let's focus our strengths here, and let's bring as many of that community into the fold and become unicorn dicks themselves.
I see recently you guys left Canada and moved to Panama. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. We did.
So was that because the milk was in a bag, or what was the motivation for that?
Because what? Sorry.
When I was younger, I had some family in Canada. I used to go up there and go to the grocery store, and the milk was in a bag.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I actually remember that when I grew up on the East Coast. We had our milk in a bag, and you'd have a special jug to pour your milk with.
Yeah.
I missed that, actually.
So were you guys on the West Coast or the Western side?
We were on the West
Canada?
Coast.
Yeah, we're just outside of Vancouver.
I just think it's funny, and I don't have a problem with milk in a bag. I'm just...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're actually both from the East Coast.
Yeah,
mostly.
born in Ontario, and I lived in Nova Scotia and PEI for a while in my childhood. Loved it. Beautiful provinces. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then
wow.
we both moved to BC around the same age, like 5 or 6, right?
Yeah, I came here 5 or 6, but then I went back to
Yeah.
the East Coast, but then back to BC
Back to
again.
BC, yeah.
We met each other in high school.
But I mean, the big move to Panama, the whole reason the moving to Panama was cost of living. In Canada, United States, the cost of living is ridiculous.
Crazy.
We were paying nearly $4,000 a month just to survive in Canada for cell phone, internet, food, and rent. And it's unsustainable.
Yeah.
I can't afford that and sink money into our business every year and pay our taxes every year into that and pay accountants and lawyer fees and all that stuff to keep our business afloat. So
Yeah, we had to choose what our priority was, and it is this business. So.
it was Twitch Pixels,
Yeah.
yeah. And so we sacrificed everything. We sold everything we owned. We scrimped and saved every dollar we could to fly our dog out with us. She actually cost us more to get here than it cost ourselves.
Yeah.
We flew out early, got a residency here, and packed the very 7 suitcases we moved with. That was it.
3 suitcases, a couple of boxes, practically nothing really. I can't believe how much we got rid of.
Our laptops, our drawing tablets, and we did it all for our fans and our community because we wanted to be able to buy our time back from the world's, the pay your bills jobs. And the only way we could do that was somewhere where the cost of living was low enough that we could work part-time so we could put all of our energy and effort without being drained and tired into the art. Like, Nat, you talk about how much hours you put into this art.
Oh my gosh, I can't, thousands upon thousands probably.
Yeah.
And it was all labor of love, obviously. I love every single image I was able to accomplish. And I'm just so glad now that we're here that I have so much more time to work on it. It's such a satisfying way to spend my days.
Yeah, and I just, from my point of view, is both of us are much happier, but seeing Nat's passion kind of reignited because she has the time to do it without feeling guilty that she's not doing something to make money to pay a bill, it changed our entire perspective on life. And it proved to me that as much as I love Canada, we're not doing a good job at making our people's quality of life very good, because it's almost a fifth the cost to live here than it was in Canada. And stability buys happiness, not money, but stability. And knowing that I can pay my rent, have groceries in the fridge, and then spend the rest of my time working on these cartoons, writing my stories, making these NFTs, and talking with my community on Discord. Like, I even have guilt by spending 20 minutes catching up with my community on Discord because I wasn't making money. And I couldn't do it anymore. Panama has freed us from that. Now, Panama's got its own share of problems too. But
it's not perfect.
It's not perfect, but it has allowed something I've never experienced in my life, and that is that stability and that freedom to choose myself and my work and my community first.
Yes.
When was it that you guys moved? It was just recently?
Yeah, like a month ago.
A month and a half now.
Wow.
We just paid our second month rent.
Yeah, we no longer feel like we're on vacation.
It's real.
Yeah, more or less.
We were fortunate too. We met. There's a YouTube channel called the Nomadic Movement, and they used to drive their minibus. They converted into a van around South America, but then they settled here in Panama, bought a piece of land, and are doing their own off-grid farm. And they started a coffee farm, and we started doing, I designed their bags, and Natalie draws a bunch of their labels for their coffee. So we had kind of an ins here, and they're amazing people. I highly suggest anyone who's into that kind of stuff, check out their channel, thenomadicmovement.com. They also sell their own coffee called The Morning Movement, which is hilarious because it's a poop joke. And it's some of the best coffee I've ever had in my life.
Oh, is it good?
But they had this whole sense of community, but physically in real life that they've been building here. And it feels very similar to the community I found on THETA Drop and through our first collection on Polygon and what we've got on Discord. And realistically, all I really want is a community of people who want to support what we do, that we can support their passion for. And this opens the door for that.
So Natalie, just out of curiosity, do you have a favorite character that you've worked on or created?
You mean out of all of the IPs or?
Yeah, I know Jeff spoke about Lost Hope kind of being his pet. Do you have a pet within these?
That's a really good question.
Wizard Mall,
oh yeah. Man, you know what? I think it would probably have to be Mall Wizard now that you mention it.
Yeah.
One of our fans actually inspired me to draw that one, and he's an otter in a wizard costume that works in a mall, kind of like a mall Santa, but he's a mall wizard for some reason.
Yeah. He's adorable.
He's so cute, and I can't wait to develop his stories further because just a mall wizard, oh my god, it's absurd, and I love it. It's everything about what Unicorn Dick's universe is absurd, and I can't wait for you guys to watch it because Jeff's writing is just out of this world, and there's so much detail into it. Not just what you're visually seeing, but the story. Oh my gosh,
the visual puns. There's so many visual puns.
Yeah, I hope you like puns because it's literally
love them.
Good. Nice form of you.
Mags is the pun master.
Nice.
So the wizard is a character in the Unicorn Dick metaverse.
Yeah, Mall Wizard. If you want to see a picture of him, it can be displayed in our Discord. Come on in and ask about him.
Yeah, Natalie will point you right to him. Yeah,
Yep.
the otter mall wizard. He's a cute little otter wearing a little blue and gold wizard hat and a little blue and gold wizard coat, sitting on like an old Santa, like a Santa style chair, smoking, puffing on an e-cigarette, I believe. That's also his wand. It's so adorable.
And his little buddy is a lemon.
Oh yeah, no, it's a little. It wasn't a little. Yeah, it's a little soda can.
Oh yeah,
with the elf ears.
Oh, you're right. Because there's him, but there's also the lemon guy.
Yeah.
Well, he's got a troop, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Very cool.
We're gonna need to get in ASAP.
Yeah.
Popper.
Well, I'll join that now that I've ripped my pack open.
Come on down and say hi.
I will join.
That's right.
I have one more pretty important question for you guys. Do you guys prefer pizza with or without pineapple on it?
Oh, good.
Do we get in on this debate? Because their Twitter's been pretty fired up about it.
Oh, really? Well, I love to admit that I love pineapple on my pizza. And not just pineapple, but olives with my pineapple. Green olives have to be.
And unfortunately, I gotta agree with her. I do like pineapple on my pizza, but I love dessert pizzas too, so you throw pineapple with some chocolate sauce and some whipped cream on some nice dough. Dessert pizza for the win.
This is great because Sheriff was attacking dessert pizza recently.
That is not true. That is not true. We'll save this for our episode. This is going to require some further debate, but that is false for the record.
So I know there's probably so much more, and there's so much we haven't covered. Obviously, we're going to get in Discord. Is there anything else you want to share with people out there that we didn't get to?
That's a good question. I know for one, get out there, check out our Instagram, check out our TikTok. There's tons of shorts and little animated stuff and animation tests. We're sharing stuff as we go. Get into Discord. There's a whole sneak peeks channel with just tons of stuff filled out in there. Really get into it and figure out, come see how far we've come on our own and see why the funding matters and why it can help skyrocket us to the goals that we've made, And we always try to set realistic goals. I think that's something I really would like to really set in stone with people is we set realistic goals and we communicate regularly. We are always around on Discord to answer questions.
Oh yeah.
Me and Nat directly. If we're not there, someone in our community can usually answer the questions. But it's really about building that community with people. So if you're an owner of one of our NFTs on THETA Drop, come into our Discord, talk with us, learn about the world, learn about the show. Like there's so much going on, like all the different races. We have the elementals, we have the mythicals, which are like D&D mythical creatures. We have what's called the forgotten or the lost, which are like your left sock that you lost through your dryer. Well, it ended up in Unicorn Dick's world and became sentient. Now he's walking around the Undercity looking for a job, like there's all these crazy things going on in this world that can really, you can define your own kind of character there, and we love people who come in and buy our NFTs and tell a little story about their NFT.
Yeah, there's actually a channel in our Discord where people can write their own backstory for their NFT, and there's a few in there that are just gold. Gold.
And we love that. We love that aspect. We love people coming in and telling their own stories because I really do. Through the expanded universe of shorts, I want the fans to be able to tell their own stories that our animators and our writers can work into these shorts so that they feel a little bit of ownership, not just over having an NFT, but over the overall universe we've created and the stories we tell.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, it was a pleasure, honestly, to have you guys on and to be able to learn more about this. And I think that the one thing that we can learn from this is that you guys are super passionate about what you're doing. To give up what you knew to move to Panama just to be able to do this more. I mean, that's pretty amazing. So that says a lot on its own. So I'm definitely going to be a little more interested in this now that I have an idea of what's going on. I'll get in the Discord, take a sneak peek what you got going on in there, and I'm definitely interested to watch how this progresses.
I really appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
That's what we want to hear from people is that they're excited and that they see the commitment because we are, if anything, we are determined, I mean, like I said, 20 years together doing this nonstop, the same goal of wanting an animation studio, never giving up. We have never given up. Anytime we've hit a roadblock, we created a new show. And that's why we have 4 new shows, and it really comes down to that is we will always find a way to make it happen. I don't care if it takes the rest of my life to make an episode. I'm getting this freaking done.
Heck yeah. We don't want to do it alone. We want to do it with you guys.
Yeah.
This is a chance to support something pretty cool, and it's not breaking the bank. I was just looking, $24 is the cheapest for one of the NFTs out there. So, it's not like some of these pineapples or, you go into ETH world, some of these other apes or what have yous. It's super affordable, and it's a way to, if we like it, we can support it, and if the more of us there, then this thing is going to grow like crazy. I can't wait to see it.
That's a big part of it too. We want it to be accessible to
Yes.
as many people as possible, because if it's about building a community, you need to let the community have access, and you have to keep that accessibility. And realistically, it's all about them at the end of the day.
Yeah, one more question. You had teased out another drop that was coming. Do you have an approximate ETA on when that would happen?
We're hoping close to the end of this year. It all depends. Again, we're gamifying this, so that we want to make sure that our gamification is solid. We want to make sure that the tokenomics behind it are solid, and we want to integrate with THETA in a way that is safe and secure for people to collect without issue. So we're dotting the I's, crossing all the T's. So that's the best estimate I can give right now, because again, I want to do it right or not at all kind of thing, right?
Are you guys going to be at THETACon?
Oh, I wish.
Oh, man.
Oh, I wish. Not this year, but hopefully next year. Once we're settled here in Panama and back on our feet again, because we moved here poor to just make it all happen. So now it's about building up that nest egg. But we want to get to THETACon so bad. I want to meet all of you guys so bad.
So awesome. Next time.
All right, we'll hold you to next time for sure. And hopefully by that time, a lot has changed for you guys, and maybe we'll even have an episode to
I'd love to come
take
back.
a look at. Yeah.
I'd love to come back and talk to you guys about our launch and everything. So maybe if we get that episode up, we'll have a little pre-launch party with you guys.
Oh, please. We're all for that.
Awesome. Awesome, guys. Well, lots of love from Panama.
Well, yeah, I mean, thank you so much for joining us. We do appreciate it, and I hope that some people out there learned a lot about what you guys are doing out there, because I think the way this drop came across, it's just, it starts to get tough. There's a lot of drops happening. People start getting invested in certain projects, and you're spending your time in one, and then another drop comes out, and it's kind of hard to slice off the time to really dig in and see what each and every project is about. So for me, there's been projects that went under the radar, and this was one of them. And I really appreciate you guys coming to just kind of open my eyes to let me know. You guys have been working on this for 6 years and 20 years. So it's like, this isn't a new thing. This has been in the works. So it's real cool. And I'm thankful for you guys coming on to teach us a little bit more about what you guys have been up to.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Appreciate you having us. And I appreciate you guys doing this show too, because I think you're right. So many projects go under the radar. You guys make it digestible. You make it easier for people to understand what's happening behind the scenes. They don't have to read a huge white paper or massive roadmaps. You make it easy to understand. And I think that's kind of like the biggest thing you guys offer. And it's huge to us creators. And I think it's even bigger to the community.
Appreciate that. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. That's what we're trying to do. Basically, it seems to be working. And you guys were talking about having a good pilot at first, and basically that's what we did. And here we are, still going.
Right. Keep it up.
All right. Well, thanks again, and you guys enjoy the rest of your night. And we'll see you on the Discord, and we look forward to following the progress along.
Yeah, guys.
Awesome.
Hit
We'll
us
see you
up
there.
anytime. Hit me with any questions you have once you're in the Discord. I'm happy to talk more.
Yep, absolutely.
We'll
Appreciate
do. Looking
it.
forward to it.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
Cheers, guys.
All right. Have a great night.
You too.
Peace.
Bye.
If you guys would like to learn more about this project, you can search them out at twitchpixel.com. And if you would like to support them, you can buy some of these NFTs that are available on ThetaDrop, or you can support them through a Patreon at patreon.com/twitchpixel.
You have been listening to the Pops and Mags Pinecast. Music provided by Sushi Cat. Like what you hear? Send that cat a very nicely worded compliment on Twitter at JustAddSpam. Pops and Mags is a Scumbag Hat production in association with Kyle's Hot.